everybody, welcome back to my channel. Yes, today is Thursday, which is time for the critical drinker. But let's start with greetings before we get into what we're doing. Hello, my name is Daniel. I'm your host. Here.
Guy in the chair.
He said it! He said it!
And today we have a special listening critical drinker about how the Mandalorian and Grogu movie will not save Star Wars. So let's hear what you have to say and enjoy.
Brand, Star Wars isn't just on life support at this point. It's already been declared legally dead. The paperwork's been filed. Its friends and relatives have gathered around to mourn it, and it's currently being lowered down 6 feet into the cold, dark embrace of eternal sleep. The only thing that could possibly turn these grim proceedings around is a glorious return to the silver screen in the grandest fashion imaginable. A new movie that would capture the hearts and minds of audiences worldwide, the kind of cultural lightning bolt that made A New Hope into an instant classic. The point is, Disney needed to do something seriously big to win back the cultural momentum and the fan goodwill they've burned up over the past decades. Not just a big budget movie with a massive marketing push designed to grab headlines, but a statement of intent, saying one thing loud and clear: we are back, motherfuckers, and we ain't going anywhere. Or they could just shart out a completely uninspired and predictable big screen adaptation of the one and only vaguely marketable character that Disney managed to fall ass backwards into over the past decade and spent 3 entire seasons milking so hard that its nipples are going to need medical grade anti-chafing cream for the next several months. The first theatrical movie about the Mandalorian and Grogu, helpfully titled The Mandalorian and Grogu. Oh my goodness, try to contain that wild creativity, Lucasfilm. You're making the rest of us look bad. Is on the way, and the first trailer dropped a few days ago to thunderous disinterest. Seriously, after 6 years without producing a single movie, this is what you choose as your big comeback?
Not a great plan.
Not only does the trailer itself look boring as fuck, showcasing a bunch of uninspired locations and goofy action scenes that look no better than an episode of the TV show, while telling us absolutely nothing about the story and characters. Wow, can't wait for another 2 hours of that fucking green animatronic puppet wandering around doing the same shtick he's been doing since 2019. They really are stuck in a catch-22 situation with this stupid fucking thing. Keeping him as a wordless baby forever would nuke any possibility of progress or development because he literally can't communicate. But on the other hand, the moment he actually starts talking and growing up, he stops being the cute little baby Yoda that sold more merch than every other Disney Star Wars character combined. That's why he was supposed to leave the show after season 2, because Jon Favreau had literally run out of things to do with him. From a visual point of view, that trailer is so completely soulless and directionless that it reminds me of those AI-generated trailers still doing the rounds. Like, what if Lord of the Rings was reimagined as a 1980s action flick? Shit, man, I'd watch that. Or Resident Evil was remade as a 1950s Panavision horror movie. It's nothing but concept art with a bit of animation to it, and it's not even especially creative or interesting. The casting isn't exactly blowing my underwear apart either. You know, there was a time when seeing Sigourney Weaver in a major franchise movie was kind of a big deal, like a stamp of approval from a respected actress who could afford to be selective about her roles. I mean, if Ellen fucking Ripley decides to show up in your movie, then you're probably in for some kind of good time at least. But after looking at some of the absolute slop she's done in recent years for a quick and easy paycheck, well, maybe not so much. She's become like a female Samuel L. Jackson, who used to be the epitome of cool, the kind of actor that could elevate any movie he was in by his sheer presence alone, then lost the ability to say no about 5 years ago, and just shows up in basically any production that'll have him now. Shit, man, last year alone he was in like 8 different projects.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
Speaking of actors who can't say no to a role, it's nice to see Pedro Pascal back in action for the first time in literally weeks. I mean, I say he's in the movie, but for all I know, he recorded his lines from a fucking sound booth in his pajamas and let some stunt guy do the actual performance on set. Wouldn't be the first time either. He's made no secret of the fact that he'd outgrown the Mandalorian after season 2 and had no interest in walking around with a fucking helmet on his head 95% of the time, so unless it gets conveniently destroyed in the first 5 minutes and he's allowed to have that glorious moustache on display, I'm not exactly expecting great things from him with this one. But the bigger problem with all this is that, well, nobody really gives a shit about the Mandalorian anymore. Yeah, it was kind of a big deal on Disney Plus 5 years ago for maybe 2 seasons, but marginal success on an obscure streaming platform doesn't translate into widespread appeal and billion-dollar box office hauls, 2 things which Star Wars movies really need in order to succeed these days. It feels more like a movie made through a process of elimination instead of any kind of artistic drive, like a bunch of money men sat down in a boardroom, analysed user trends and merchandise sales, and concluded that The Mandalorian was the property most likely to generate a profit. Just another dry, clinical business decision from a company that stopped being about artistic merit like 15 years ago. And that's even assuming everyone who saw it still has a favourable opinion of The Mandalorian, which, let's be honest, hasn't been true for a long time now. Season 3 was a tedious, laughable disaster that proved that Grogu had well and truly outstayed his welcome, that visited upon us the horrors of Jack Black and Lizzo trying to act, and pushed Mando to the periphery of his own show in favour of his more diverse and politically acceptable replacement, Bo-Katan. Yet another generic Star Wars girl boss so famously lacking in anything even resembling a personality that she literally triggered an existential crisis in the actress playing her and destroyed her confidence in her own acting ability for years afterwards. Damn man, imagine knowing you'd written a character so thoroughly shit that it made the actress want to give up acting. What I'm trying to say with all this pish is that even though The Mandalorian was probably the best of the utter sludge being pumped onto the Star Wars section on Disney Plus, with one obvious exception, even at its peak, it never really crossed into mainstream awareness. The average person on the street had no fucking idea who Din Djarin, Bo-Katan or Grogu were, and let's be real, its peak was a long time ago at this point. Now it's seen as kind of an unfunny joke with no punchline, and the disaster of Season 3 has probably caused a lot of people to reassess their feelings on the previous 2. Look past the cutesy puppets, the shameless nostalgia bait and the half-decent action scenes, and you begin to realise that it was still shallow, mindless slop. It was just packaged slightly better. So is there any way for Star Wars to come back to life at this point? Well, I'm no expert, but one thing I can tell you is that if it's been more than half a decade since your last movie, and that movie was Rise of Skywalker, then you really need to come back with the mother of all bangs if you expect to win people over again. And not just one bang either, preferably several in a row to prove it wasn't a fluke and that there's still plenty of life left in your franchise. Somehow I don't think The Mandalorian is going to accomplish any of those things. But hey, it's probably going to be amusing watching them try. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Hey guys, I hope y'all enjoyed that. He did have a mouthful, it sounds like, but stores needs to have some kind of big comeback, miraculous. I don't think they're gonna do it with this one, but I could be wrong. It might be spectacular, and whatever word you want to use is. I'll see it when it comes out, because I'm curious, but hey, you might not, and that's okay with me. It's a free country. But if you like what you saw, don't forget to like it, comment down below, share, and then subscribe. And I hope it all night and the rest of the day go really well. And then I will see you in the next video. Bye.